Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Oh, Lord, do I feel so much better than I did yesterday. Oh,
yikes.
Oh, my God. I must say, pat myself on the back. That was a heroic effort yesterday to get out of bed. Folks, if you get this neurovirus, oh, Lordy, be prepared for 24 to 48 hours of pure hell. No bueno. But I'm back better than ever today. Actually have some energy. But thanks for tuning in yesterday. We had huge numbers yesterday after our Rays video went viral on Friday. I'm still getting people like sending me clips of this, like, hey, you're in Tokyo, you're in Costa Rica. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you very much. That's awesome. So yeah, it's really good. So we got some updates on the Rays, a possible sale. We'll do that for you. We got Bucs at the Combine today. Always great to talk a little bit of NFL. Connor McDavid is in town. How about that? The hero of the Four Nations. What a weird deal it's going to be tonight for his Lightning teammates in Canada teammates to be playing against him tonight. And by the way, since the Oilers got back on the ice with their team, talk about a letdown. They've been outscored 13-6 in 2 games, and they're 0-2. So then they're playing 3 games in 4 nights. So the Lightning got them tonight. We'll get into that. Brian Bradley will join us at 10:45 live from a morning skate, and I will make arrangements to get him his 6-pack of Molson that I lost. So good morning to you, IndyCar Tim Ham from our DSP affiliate in Dallas. How are you, my friend?
Anxiously awaiting my 12-pack of Labatt's Blue. Go Canada.
Did I bet you that too?
I tried to get in on y'all's bet, and y'all just ignored me.
All right. No, I'll get this. I'm going to have Austin Matthews pay both of you anyway. So,
you know what? I'll take a signed jersey too. That'd be fine with that.
By the way, our good friend John Hill sent me a screenshot. That Jake Gensel jersey I was wearing is going for $5,000. Yeah. And the game
just because you're wearing it?
No, it's like the game, and I think that's just like, I couldn't really tell. I'm not a jersey guy. I'm not into all that stuff. Right. But and then like the game worn was like $9,500 or maybe more than that. I'm like, is that true? People pay that for jerseys?
Yeah.
They must work for the government.
I mean, I don't. Yeah. No, they don't work. They just get paid by the government.
Is that the craziest thing you've ever seen?
I still think it's because it's a JP Peterson on-air worn jersey.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's nothing to do with Jake Gensel.
At least now I feel better about him taking it back. I'm like, okay, I get it now. It's worth a lot of money. Oh my God. So anyway, we'll get into some Lightning talk. The Oilers in town tonight. That should be a hell of a game. TJ Rives is going to join us at 10:15. We'll talk some Bucs with him. Also talk some Four Nations. He likes to talk all kinds of different things. We love having TJ.
College basketball.
We'll chat with him. Yeah, college basketball. This is their time, right? This is their time. March Madness is coming up.
Can't wait.
I've just been recently getting into some college basketball. Watched a little FSU North Carolina last night. FSU is just the absolute perfection of mediocre. They are just so mediocre. Leonard Hamilton, his final season he's announced, and incredible career Leonard Hamilton's had. But this program needs some juice. It needs some juice in a bad way. And so we'll see where they go with their next coach. But I think Sam Cassell has been rumored to be the guy. We had Coach Z on a couple weeks ago, and I hope he
couldn't get it out of him.
If they don't hire Sam Cassell, something's very, very wrong. If he wants the job, I think he does. I think Z said he did. Absolutely. I think he said he did if they're going to equip him with the necessary tools to be successful. And I don't understand why they wouldn't. This is not some half-ass organization here, although some might believe that. Based on the results in the last few years, I get it. But no, they're anxious to get back into the fold. So we'll see. So we'll talk some college basketball with him. We got Valspar news. We got all kinds of other stuff. We'll talk Rays on the field. So lots coming your way as we do this each and every day. If
Still
you're a new
open to be
viewer,
in town for the Valspar. So all of you JP Peterson show fans that are also
Yes.
Tim fans, let's get together and have a beer while I'm in town.
yeah, let's have a show meetup, shall we?
Yeah,
At
let's
one of
do
the Hooters Owl's Nest seems like a nice place to do that.
Are they not all closing?
No, not the ones in my good
Yeah.
friend Bob Passwaters put out yesterday on Facebook. Fear not. The group that owns all the ones here in Tampa Bay are the original Hooters group.
Yeah.
So they're different than Hooters America. So
Right.
that bought most of it. So those people don't know how to run businesses, but the ones here are not only not closing, but they're also adding stores in Wesley Chapel and in Lakeland, I believe, because this place is booming. And so we're still very much in the Hooters business. So as I told Bob, we got to get you on the show. We got the studio now. So he used to bring in, the best of his talent to the studio.
Yeah.
So I said, come on, Bob, let's get that going again. Make sure everybody knows you guys aren't closing. I think that's important. We got to get the message.
Our ones here. I'm assuming all the ones in my area are all owned by the same guy or same group, but they're not closing. But it's weird because some of them are just really, like, ask Johnny when we like to go to Hooters. We like to go to Twin Peaks. That's kind of where we go for our lunch, our business meetings and stuff. But man, there are a couple of Hooters here that you just know you don't go to, where it seems like the C team is always on shift.
Yeah.
And there's other ones you go to and all they have is an A team. Doesn't matter when you go.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but I know I'm sure they're all owned by the same group, but it's just, they're not very consistent, but
and it's just one of those things, like, over the years, like, there was a time when it was okay to say, yeah, I go to Hooters because the girls are hot and, they look fantastic and they serve us wings and beer. And it's like, it's fantastic. And now it's like, oh, you're objectifying women. It's like,
that's what I do.
They put the jersey on, or the jersey, they put the uniform on. Like, there's no gun being held to their head. Like, they're taking advantage of their assets and making lots of money. Like, what's wrong with that?
Money.
What's wrong with that? So
Yeah,
hopefully
lots
the
of
tide's changing back to more common sense approach, and men can be men and women can be women.
Remember, and
how about that?
There was an April Fool's Day. It might have been back in the 90s, man, where Hooters put out a press release that they were going to start hiring men, but they had to wear the same uniform. Do you remember this? It was full legit. Like, no one knew. Like, holy crap, is this real? And then later it was like, no, it's April Fool's, you idiots.
Well, I get it. But in this day and age, you're like, oh, okay. I guess I could believe that, right? That's the bad part. Like, we would actually believe that, the insanity of the whole thing. But hopefully some sanity has returned. And, well, I believe there was, a lawsuit, right? Where they somebody sued Hooters because all they hired was hot girls.
Yeah.
It's like, and
Like
they won. Yeah, and they won, so they had to, change their hiring practices, and it's like, whatever. And then it kind of just went downhill.
I'm not against a little extra cushion, okay? I'm not against a little love stuffing.
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily need to go to a restaurant to see it. Like, I want to see those chicks in bars and take them home and then not call them back the next day. That's what I want out of those women, okay? I might even have married one of them, okay? But come on. I don't need to see them while I'm eating my chicken wings.
The opinions of everyone on the show is not necessarily that of the entire JP Peterson show, just so Ashley knows, and other women who might be offended by that. But yes. I'm
just saying I love all women. That's all I'm saying.
I don't want to call you back. I think that's maybe part of it too, Tim. I mean, let's not be
like that's ever happened.
Oh my God. All right. Let's on that. Let's get
just went way downhill very quickly.
I think it's the best part of the show. Absolutely. All right. All right. So back to football. We got the Bucs at the combine today. And the combine began yesterday. And it's kind of an annual rite of passage. It's changed a lot over the years, but it's definitely a time where we get a little bit more information. Jason Light's going to talk today about 11:30, somewhere about that time. Todd Bowles will be part of the competition committee interviews that'll go on around 1:30. And one of the things that we'll be taking up is the tush push, which I'm kind of mixed on that, but I can fix it real quick. I think the tush push. Now, I guess evidently the Packers, were a team that complained and wanted it to, which is weird. It's like we have to do this in secret now. Like the Packers aren't bold enough to say, yeah, we're the ones who said we would like to have the tush push outlawed. How weird is that? Say it with your throat. If you're gonna say it with your chest. All right. So I the part of it that I gotta say and appreciate is that they do it better than anybody else. They do. Now the Bucs have stopped it 3 times, so it can be stopped. And to me, it's like anything else in football. If one of your chief rivals is doing something that you need to stop, you got to adjust to it. That's what football is. It's adjustment, right? But I do think for years and years we had the rule that you can't assist the runner, you can't push the runner, and to me that's the key to this whole play, because you could see it a lot of times. The initial push is stopped, and then the 2 guys come from behind and push Jalen Hurts, and there's a surge. So that to me, I don't think you have to outlaw the tush push, but I think you got to go back to the original rule, which is you can't assist a runner. I don't know why that changed. Do you? Do you know why that changed?
I'm sure it had to do with safety.
Well, that right. Doesn't make sense to me. But it's when
like
I don't want guys coming up behind you. And I see it all the time when the pile now is kind of stopped, where you would normally blow the whistle. Now you got guys coming from behind, offensive linemen slamming into their own guys, or defensive players. I mean, that seems to me to be way more dangerous than anything else.
They don't blow the whistle early enough on those things, and that's what's causing injuries. And I just look, if you're not going to, I liked that rule where you can't assist the runner, because you got a linebacker on a running back 5 yards downfield on a 3rd and 10, and then you get an offensive lineman come running up the field, slams into the back of his running back, knocks the linebacker over, and other defenders coming in, and that's a recipe for a major injury on the poor running back, by the way, who's the smallest guy in the group. I liked that rule. I don't know why they got rid of it. I think they should go back to it, and if you do, you have to ban the tush push. Yeah, because that is not a safe play.
I think in terms of safety, but I think just getting rid of the assisting of the runner will take care of it, because I don't think by definition that's effective.
By definition that's what the tush push is, right?
I mean, right, exactly. So I think that's a happy medium.
You make a rule where the quarterback, you can call the quarterback sneak, and the quarterback can go wherever direction he wants behind the line of scrimmage, but nobody is allowed to come up behind him and assist him.
And anywhere on the field. Like we had one play this year. Was kind of fun to watch, but I think it was in the playoffs where offensive lineman picked up a running back at the 2-yard line and threw him into the end zone. Like, are we supposed to be doing that? That's not
old XFL stuff right there.
Yeah. I think that could be a happy medium. So they'll talk about that today, and Light, I'm sure, will probably shed a little light, pun intended, on what's going on with Chris Godwin. The Bucs officially have $8.6 million in cap space, but there's another 22.8, I believe, that's going to be added to the cap as it continues to go up with the new television deal that was signed a few years ago. So as we told you many years ago, that's going to go up to approximately 350 to 400 million by the end of this deal, because it doubled, and the players get about 52% of the total deal, so revenues. So now it's going to be up to almost 280 million, and the Bucs with restructures could add another 60. So in essence, another 80 to 90 million to play with. So to me, the question is, where are we at? Are we in, Tom Brady all in mode, which I think is where you should be? You have another window, and, kind of like the Eagles who won that Super Bowl, and then, kind of they were still very competitive, but didn't have to totally go back and rebuild, and then came back and won what, 5 years later, 5-6 years later. Yeah. I think the Bucs are very much in that realm, where there's still a few players left from that Super Bowl team that are very viable and a great core of your team. And then they've added obviously some great draft classes. And now they're to the point where I think they're a couple free agents and a couple more draft picks away from a legitimate Super Bowl roster. So I think that's what we'll be talking about today. And I think, bringing Chris Godwin back is definitely one of those things, adding an edge rusher in free agency and possibly the draft, and addressing corner, inside linebacker, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll hear from Jason Light today, probably illuminating on some of those things. So without further ado, as we talk Buccaneers, we bring in the Buccaneers sideline guy. He is the great TJ Rives. What's up, TJ? How are you, my friend?
Hey, listen, it's always good to be with you on any and all fronts. Timmy, you hanging all right? You good? You hanging in there?
I'm here.
I love it.
My Red Raiders didn't put on a good show last night, but
you were up late last night, and they had the blackout going for Texas Tech. They had Patrick Mahomes and Brittany right there courtside in the house in the black, and they still don't get it done with those dastardly Houston Cougars. No. While we digress and talk a little college basketball. So listen, always good to be with you guys on all subjects. I'm good on Buccaneers. I'm good on that Four Nations tournament that they had. The Rays and the stadium situation, which have you been on that? Were you ahead? I think you might have been a little ahead on all the stuff with the Rays. Yeah. In fact, you're so far ahead, we can't see you anymore on being ahead on all this. Keep up the good work. We can talk all these subjects wherever you want to go. It's your world. I'm visiting.
We were just talking Bucs a little bit because Combine's going on this week. Have you ever been to the Combine? I have not. Been to the Combine.
I can honestly confess that I'm about to turn 55. JP Peterson, I'm going to be the speed limit coming up, and I am still Combine free. I have never partaken in the NFL scouting combine.
Yeah.
So you're not missing anything.
Yeah. I don't think so.
You're not missing
I still harken back to 30 years ago, what is now the 1995 combine, when the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely talked themselves into, we got to have Mike Mamula. We don't need Warren Sapp. We got to have Mike Mamula. Why? Because he can bench press 200 pounds 50 times. And we're going to watch him do the vertical leap, and he can vertically leap 40 inches. And he looks fantastic in a pair of shorts with number 219 on the front of his shirt. And so we talk ourselves into, let's draft Mike Mamula instead of Warren Sapp. How did that work out, Buccaneer fans?
So
in
for us,
1999, 30 years ago. So I have long sworn off paying so much attention to, oh my God, did you see his shuttle run? Oh, look at his agility.
Well, you have never seen a football player do a shuttle run in a game?
I have not. No, they do not
have
have
seen him do a 40-yard dash.
No, what about a vertical leap?
Vertical leap?
Well, I think I've seen that.
Sometimes to block a pass or to catch a pass.
Barkley.
Yeah, that was a vertical leap.
That was a vertical leap.
You get the premise. And the thing is, I understand they are priming the pump. I understand they are feeding the monster while they're showing the combine endlessly. Let's go to this kid from Chadron State. Boy, he's got some good tape, but let's watch him here in the shuttle run go around the cones. And I'm going, my God, this is on network cable TV. We're watching this for hours. For hours, we're watching.
All I could say is the ladies love the 40-yard dash.
Yes, and then everybody sits here and starts thumbing through their guide and whatever they have, their hard copy, going, who is that guy from Drake that looks like he can, he's got a 39-inch vertical leap, and he bench pressed the 200 pounds 18 times.
Well, this is from John Hill, one of our wonderful listeners, says one mock draft has the Bucs at 19 taking Shamar Stewart of Texas A&M, 6'5", 280. He only had 4.5 sacks over 3 seasons at Texas A&M. Well, Jason Light, the front seven freaks continue. Now, this guy is the prototypical, great numbers, great athlete guy who has absolutely no idea how to play the game. How do you play that much? How do you play that much, Mr. Texas A&M?
All right, Captain Aggie. Is this guy the real deal Holyfield, or is he a question mark?
No, he is the real deal. He only had 4.5 sacks at A&M because they did not ask him to sack. He was more in pass coverage. Look at his quarterback hurries. All right. And look who he was playing in the SEC. The quarterbacks in the SEC, the high quality of quarterbacks in the SEC, the high quality of offensive lines in the SEC.
Is he worthy of a first-round pick, in your opinion?
So the coaches are so dumb.
Did you hear that?
He could be a dominant pass rusher in the NFL, and that they didn't want him to do it in college. Is that what you're telling me?
That's not the defense. They don't. That's look. You got to understand that the Texas A&M Aggies. Okay, they're not your normal college football team. All right, that's why we're the best.
Okay.
No, he is not a first-round pick to me. No, I would not take him in the first
freaking
round.
way I'm taking anybody to be an edge rusher that spent 3 years playing football and had 4.5 sacks in college. You should have 4.5, and you're playing 4 cream puffs a year. You should have 17 sacks against the cream puffs alone. You get 4.5 sacks? No,
I'm with you.
No, thank you.
Let's submit this. He
wasn't even a starter till this year.
Okay, and you drafted a year ago a Chris Braswell. We did this. Who was only a part-time starter really until his final season, did not have monster numbers. And I would submit Chris had an okay rookie year, certainly not an impactful rookie year off the edge. We can't say that. I mean, there was a play here or there, but it's not like teams were game planning. Where's 43? We got to make sure that we double team him on every play. So you just have to walk cautiously here, because you've already done this with kind of trying to project, can that guy be a lot better? And that's coming out of the Alabama football program, by the way, with Braswell. And I have to confess, just up front while we're going over this, I'm not in that world right now, because this is February 25th. I'm not into the whole, this guy is or this guy isn't as of yet. It'll get classer. Yes. I will defer to the JP Petersons and to the IndyCar Tims here on what we're looking at with some of these guys. I mean, obviously, I know the more prominent guys that are out there, but when you start delving into this, like what Jason Light and his staff are doing, they know, they've watched game tape, they've scouted in person as a scouting staff, they've been at the Senior Bowl, they've been to the East-West Shrine game and all these different games, and they now are going to go through the individual workouts with these guys besides the combine. So,
look, I will just throw this out there for the Texas A&M Aggies. Okay, yes, I'm an Aggie at heart. I bleed maroon. The best 2 players on the Aggies defense, Nick Skirton and Shamar Stewart, late second, early third round at best.
So neither of them even project as
they are not day one starters in the NFL to me. All right. They're end of year 2. You plug them in the right defense and the right situations with the right defensive coordinator, and they'll never be, to me, they'll never be superstar. They're not going to be a Myles Garrett, that also out of A&M, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they'll be serviceable rotation guys to me. That's what I think about both those guys and most of A&M's defense.
By the way, I love to keep it light here on the program. As you know, there's so much seriousness that's out there and so much to get you down and so much to disappoint you. Have you seen this stuff about Pete Carroll coming to the combine yesterday as the new Las Vegas Raiders head coach? Did you see this? Do you guys happen to see this?
No.
Figure this out? All right. So a reporter, blogger, video guy that does all San Francisco 49er content, he gets off the plane in Indianapolis and he's immediately rolling video on himself, walking and talking through the airport. And he says, guys, I got to share something with you. He goes, I was just on a plane. He goes, I couldn't fly nonstop from San Francisco to Indianapolis, so I had to connect through Seattle. And the way he explained it is, I walked through first class on the Seattle plane, and there is Mike McDaniel, the Seahawks coach, and John Schneider, the GM, sitting right next to each other in first class. Not uncommon. They're flying to Indianapolis. They're flying first class. He goes, I get back in my coach seat, and he goes, and we get underway, and I look over to my right, and I see this gray-haired guy, and I'm thinking, I think I know who that is. Do I recognize? Wait a minute. That is Pete Carroll, flying coach on the flight from Seattle to Indianapolis. And then he goes on to share that Pete Carroll was trying to get up to go to the bathroom, and the flight attendants had the beverage card, and coach had told him to sit down until they had got done.
Look, this is the Raiders, okay? They have a lot of money.
Okay, so then Pete Carroll went up in the front in first class, and he's talking to McDaniel and John Schneider. And John Schneider, by the way, threw Pete Carroll under the bus back row. So that's interesting dynamic. Yeah. But this guy's taking video, and he goes, would any of the rest of us been allowed to go stand in first class for 30 minutes or an hour? They left him alone. He goes, he was up there standing for almost an hour talking to them in their seats around the first class people. And his point was your point, Tim. This man is the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, and they didn't buy him a first class ticket to the combine. I just thought I'd stick that in there on the JP.
Wow. You think that's Brady's decision or Mark Davis's decision?
And if you're Pete Carroll and
Brady
you've got all
this
money, you've got all this money. Why do you not just decide to go ahead and stick the credit card out and I want to sit up in first class? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
point.
Does
Brady have a plane?
You're making $12 million a year. You can't spend the extra grand.
He was a man of the
like
people.
50 cents for me and you.
I love Pete Carroll, dude. I absolutely love Pete Carroll.
Insane. That is insane.
By the way, this guy from San Francisco that you're talking about, it wasn't Grant Cohn, was it?
Yes, that's him.
He's a friend of mine. I know Grant.
All right, so go back and watch the video for the audience for JP. I'm not exaggerating. He was tremendous doing the walk and talk. He's funny. I'd never really watched his stuff. And I'm like, because somebody put wait for the punchline. So I watched for like a minute and a half, and then he starts talking about Pete Carroll's back with him and coach.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's on Pete Carroll. Sorry, that's not on the Raiders. That's on it's on both of them. I mean, come on. Yeah. What are we doing here? Jiminy Christmas. All right, so you mentioned the Four Nations.
Yes.
Connor McDavid's in town tonight with his Edmonton Oilers, who have come back from the break. Absolute disaster. They've been outscored 13-6 and lost 2 games in a row.
How about that?
And Cooper was talking about this the other night, the mental gymnastics that he's had to go through and his players had to go through.
Did you see him after the game? I know you've probably talked about this. I haven't heard you. Did you see John Cooper after the game down on the ice with his guys?
Yeah.
And how much that meant to him?
It was emotional.
I mean, so you bring up an excellent point. How do you switch that off? And let's go back to regular season hockey with your own guys and with your own stuff. There's probably a curve.
Nobody expected it to be this important. Nobody expected it to be, it's like we heard about, the Four Nations. Oh, this sounds fun. All right. Yeah, this could be cool. And then it was literally a seismic earthquake of NHL popularity. And let's be honest, what drove that? The fights. Started that game on Saturday night.
Three things that drove it. The first thing is the us against them.
Yep.
That always works in the Olympics, no matter what it is. How many times in the Olympics do we watch like table tennis if it's us against them?
Of course.
Or like cross-country skiing.
Yes.
Or, because it's us against them.
The only time you watch these sports.
That's correct, because it's us against this. That's the first thing. The second thing, I might have heard something, and maybe you guys can help me. There's a little strained economic relations between the United States and Canada, to the point that the NHL games, they're booing our national anthem.
Yeah, awesome.
So now we got a little WWE wrestling backdrop with that. And I'm not so sure that the boys in both of those rooms didn't decide, let's put a little additive on it. Let's salt it. Let's get it going. 3 fights in 9 seconds. That ain't an accident. Nope. That is not an accident. And when you go back to fight number 2, and Ray Ferraro is telling you from ESPN down in between the glass, in between the 2 benches, Matthew Tkachuk is yelling at Sam Bennett, you and me, Benny, right now. You and me. They're going to jump back on the ice. And at the drop, because he's saying to Sean McDonough, this is not over. He goes, Tkachuk and Sam Bennett are about to go right now as soon as they drop. So some of it, I believe, was orchestrated. Some of it was, let's get some of this out. And my God, that was everywhere on the internet for hours on Thursday night.
For the weekend. The whole weekend.
Yes, most people couldn't tell you 3 players on either team, but they were glued to those videos of the dudes duking it out. So you mix all that into the stew pot, the us against them, the Canadians booing the national anthem. They're playing the first game in Canada, and then the second game was obviously in Boston, and you build up for 3 or 4 days, and that was the largest audience for an NHL game on cable TV in over 30 years, over 35 years, 9+ million people.
That's just in America. And
yes, correct.
40 million in Canada.
What the Canadian audience is, correct.
Yeah, the Canadian audience, because it was 40 million people there. I think 39 were watching.
It was. And look, can they capture all of that again? So many times you can't recapture that. I mean, a lot of it was
I think it elevated the game.
Organic. Oh, yeah.
I think it elevated the game tremendously. You know, and just the juxtaposition that if you switched over to the NBA All-Star game at the same time they were fighting LaGangelo, I don't know what, one of the Mellows ball, not even the basketball player, but the other ones who's a rapper was doing a rap performance at the All-Star game. And you're like, okay, which one am I going to watch? Let's go back to this one.
It's no contest.
PK Subban, which on ESPN, right, who pays $2.6 billion a year for the NBA, absolutely eviscerated the NBA when comparing the two and say, and because they were asking him, well, what do you think the NBA can do to make it, you know, much like the NHL and make people watch and tune into? Should it be the world against the USA and America? He goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, I don't give a rip who you play against. He goes, you got to care. You got to give a shit. Correct. Because you guys, those NBA players don't give a rat's ass. You don't want to play. You're load managing. We don't do that in hockey. That's not part of our culture. It matters to us. So it doesn't matter what your format is. You got to have a different culture. He just absolutely. I can't imagine the ESPN suits going, oh my.
Well,
he's not coming back on Get Up anytime soon.
Yeah,
he's 100% right.
And the key with that, while we digress for just one more second and we'll move on to other stuff, is who is ultimately responsible. That is a player-controlled league.
Exactly.
Obviously. So for LeBron, for Steph Curry, for Kevin Durant, the most prominent, important stratosphere players, to not set the tone and set the culture that we're going to take this seriously and this is for the fans and we're going to do this the right way, they have completely abdicated, I'll use that word, what was given to them previously, what Bird and Magic and Jordan, and then they stepped aside and it became Kobe and Shaq and the new and LeBron when he first came into the league, and then that eventually now has seeded to LeBron and Steph Curry and Durant and all the new guys. But if the iconic players don't care themselves and they're not going to set the tone and set the culture, then you get what you get, which this is now laughable. It's now an afterthought. It cannot be fixed, and it won't matter. They're talking about like play a USA versus the world game. Okay. We already had that with the Olympics. Here we go with the us versus them.
Yes.
And that Olympic final, by the way, because I'm looking at the ratings comparisons for another pod that I do, the Olympic final USA-France, Saturday afternoon in August. I still remember, while we digress for a second, I was in the Cincinnati Bengal press box for the Buccaneer preseason game. All right. There's easily 300 working people, media, staff that are in that press box getting their food. This is an hour before the preseason game, Buccaneers and Bengals, and the entire press box, kids, stopped to watch the end of the U.S.-France basketball game. That game had 20 million people watching.
And they cared.
Went all out because they cared. That's right. The gold medal, they cared about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know, to bring it back, that USA versus the world in an all-star thing matters. Opinion?
Not unless you play hard.
Yeah, that's the whole key. The players aren't going to care. It's the NBA All-Star game used to be must-watch TV for me back in the day.
Yeah,
I never missed an NBA All-Star game in the 80s, the 90s, until you know who was drafted? LeBron James. Because he's ruined the NBA and made it an unwatchable product, and it starts with the All-Star game because it's a joke. And it's one of the reasons the NBA is an unwatchable product. I can't stand it. I haven't watched a Mavericks game in 15 years, and I blame LeBron James for that.
And
by the way, Nico was right.
So much better. Yeah, that's right. And tonight we're going to see, two teams that really care: the Lightning against the Oilers, and the Lightning on a 5-game heater right now. They're 6-0-1 in their last 7. Vassey's playing his ass off. It's just, this team is coming into its own in the perfect time. They're only 4 points out of first place behind Toronto. And they're, and I don't even think they're playing their best hockey, but they're winning games. And when you're winning games and you're not even playing your A game, that's a good sign.
And it's such, and I know I'm not making excuses. It's such a long season that ebbs and flows. You want to be playing your best hockey in March and April anyway.
Right.
So now is the time to try to turn it on. And these guys got a long break out of it. Am I correct that last year they were rolling the Lightning into the All-Star break, and then they fumbled and stumbled out of the All-Star break after taking like a week off? Am I not right about that? Do I not remember that correctly? The Peeps can correct us. The Peeps can correct us. I have no idea, but it was a good sign that they won the other night with the Kraken, with Seattle having to come all the way here. And let's see what happens tonight with the Lightning. And it's now going to be a stretch run of the next 6 weeks or so into the playoffs. All right,
let's tap into your college basketball because it's that time. You're hosting all these basketball pods for gamblers.
Yep.
I watched a little bit of FSU North Carolina last night. And it's a little sad where the FSU program has gone. It's and obviously Leonard Hamilton is resigning after this year. Incredible career, but that team has no juice. It hasn't had juice for a while. They're hopefully Sam Cassell's going to get that job, but
interesting name.
They lost to North Carolina last night, I think by 10 at home, and there's about 12 people in the building. It's really sad where FSU.
Tell your story. Take 30 seconds and tell your story. Didn't you do the court rush when they beat North Carolina at what's now the Tucker Center, the old Leon County Civic Center? Didn't you do a court rush? Weren't you part of that or around that, trying to cover that?
Well, I was calling the games. Yeah, I was calling the games with Deckerhoff, and when Byron Wells, the pride of Temple Terrace, dropped that three from the corner that bounced off about three sides of the rim, and it went down. There's like students coming over the table where Gene
by the dozens and hundreds. They rushed the court to beat North Carolina.
Yeah, that was when they beat Duke. It's been. You go back to the COVID year where, Dick Vitale awarded us the mythical national championship. That was an unbelievable team. I think it had three first-round NBA picks. But since then, it's just been a lot of mediocre for Leonard Hamilton and his basketball program. So hopefully they get it going. But
this is interesting. Florida State is open. Is Cassell going to get that job? A lot of people are saying Dennis Gates, a former assistant of Hamilton's, who's the Missouri coach. Maybe that name. All right, so Florida State is open. Miami is open with Jim Larrañaga, but it looks like Jai Lucas, the former George Mason star who played a little bit in the NBA, he's John Shire's big assistant at Duke. He's a big-time recruiter. It looks like Jai Lucas is going to get that. So we got the USF situation with what do they do with Ben Fletcher, the interim coach. It's an awful situation that he was thrust into, having to take over after the death of Amir Abdur-Rahim. Do they keep him? Does Mike Kelly? My understanding is, this is not for certain, but Michael Kelly wants to get a more proven brand name. Watch the name Mike Bray, the former Notre Dame coach. He was trying to hire Mike Bray a couple of years ago to be the USF coach. Bray, I think, has been like a consultant with a team. I haven't seen him on TV. And Bray is a little older, and maybe he doesn't want to fool with the NIL anymore. That's Larrañaga. That's why Tony Bennett's not there. There's a lot of rumor that Bill Self in your part of the world, Timmy, may be retiring and may say, I don't want to do this anymore. I'll go to TV. I don't want to re-recruit my team. I don't want to do NIL free agency. Who knows? All right. So what does USF do? And UCF in Orlando may be fed up in the Big 12 with Johnny Dawkins because they've underachieved. Could we have all four of those programs with coaching changes coming up in the coaching carousel? Stay tuned. But the FSU hire will be very interesting because it's the ACC, and Leonard Hamilton's been there 23 years, by the way.
How about that?
Just real quick, because I got to go in a couple of minutes. Florida tonight with Georgia. Keep an eye on this game. Gators look every bit the part of an Elite Eight Final Four team. They could be a team that could win the tournament in Nashville. What a brawl that tournament is going to be between them and Auburn and Alabama and Kentucky and Tennessee. Stop me when you haven't heard a team that's a contender. Texas A&M, Missouri, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. My God.
Does that hurt the SEC or make them better going into March Madness that you have to go through that gauntlet of a tournament?
I submit for your approval, Mighty One. Might not be the worst thing in the world to lose on Friday in Nashville if you're Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, They don't want to go in with the mindset of losing. Might not be the worst thing in the world to lose and not beat yourselves up on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
When your resume is basically intact. I know the committee doesn't want to hear that in terms of integrity of the game, but
it's true. It's like a conference championship game in football. It's not doing you any favors.
Auburn and Alabama and Kentucky, and you have played monster schedules down the stretch. Do you want to play 3 more monster games in about 60 hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? So
probably not.
That's a bit of a concern, but what a tournament that's going to be. But Gators at Georgia tonight. What do they won 11 or 12 in a row against Georgia? And they blew them out in the first game in Gainesville, in the Swamp, in the O'Connell Center. Now this is the rematch. Georgia hung in there with Auburn on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Why do I get the feeling this is going to be kind of a nip and tuck game? This is not going to be, and Florida's going to get the big guy Condon back. I don't know that this is going to be Florida by 10, Florida by 15. I think this could be a close game. Georgia might have a shot. Right. They've already beaten Kentucky in that building in a couple of others.
Yeah. All right, partner. Always good to chat with you, my friend. Thank you very much for taking the time. You're the best.
Hey, keep up with the great work. I am watching whenever you need me, college hoops or otherwise. We didn't even get into the Rays stuff.
No.
We'll do that later in the show.
From your lips and those that are talking about get this rectified, get local ownership, get a stadium deal in place. We have been through so much as a fan base of idiocy over the last decade of can't get the stadium built. Can we get the stadium built?
Well, it's not hard when you remove the impediment.
The problem. Correct. So,
all right, partner.
There we go. Thank you. I'm off to the Bet US College Basketball Show on all their platforms coming up, but I will be back with you when you need me. Put the bat signal up.
Great. TJ Rives, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, JP.
See you guys. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Brian Bradley's going to join us. I believe he's at Amalie Arena for the morning skate. I'm sure he's there to with his Team Canada jersey on to celebrate with Connor McDavid and John Cooper and everybody else from Team Canada there. Quick break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. If you have any legal questions whatsoever, please give them a call, email them, go to their website, JeevesLawGroup.com. If you're in an accident, they got to be your first call. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Don't become just a number in some national law firm. Go with the folks that are local and know the local landscape. It's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com, non-attorney spokesman. Offices St. Pete and Tampa, back in 3. Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on here on this Tuesday. The Lightning will be hosting the Edmonton Oilers tonight. 7:30 start, a little bit later than normal. It'll be on ESPN Plus. So they get a Lightning Oilers game where 9.3 million people, and check me on this, Tim. I don't know what's on ESPN tonight at 7:30 on the big on that ESPN2, ESPN whatever.
Right.
So they get a game with Connor McDavid, the hero of the Olympics, the Lightning coached by John Cooper, the winning coach, and 3 of the members, and Hagel, Cirelli, and Point. And we're going to put this on ESPN Plus.
That nobody has. I mean, I have it because I'm an idiot, but nobody has ESPN. I use it. I have to have it for, to watch a lot of college basketball that I cover. Yeah. So,
right. So, yeah, but make it make sense. And this is why the NHL, when they chose to go with ESPN, I understand it. They're the big dog, but if they're not going to put marquee games on the platform and be able to, move a little bit more briskly when things happen. I mean, this is a game that they could have definitely promoted and been huge.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to tell you, behind you, your little puppy is trying so hard to get up on that bed, and I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, because I put the food in the water bowl up there for the other dog because he can jump up there. And the stupid idiot puppy dog just freaking eats and drinks all the water. It's more than twice his body weight. He'll just sit there and keep eating it.
He's just behind you, trying so hard to get
see now the other one's up there, and he's just taunting the puppy because he can jump up there and the other one can't.
Oh, that's pure entertainment. That is pure. We'll just watch that all day. That's fine.
I'll just leave the cam on all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. All right, let's jump in and talk a little hockey with our good friend Brian Bradley. Yes, Team Canada vanquished my Team USA. I owe you a 6-pack of Molson. They won't let me bring it in the arena though, bro. So we're gonna have to meet outside the arena, go play golf or something, so I can pay off the bet. I can't hear you.
Oh,
can't hear you.
Yeah, he's muted. I think
you mute. You're muted. No, that's the turnaround. Yeah.
You're listening to live coverage of Brian Bradley at Morning Skate at Emily
Arena. Yeah. So I bet Brian a 6-pack of Molson, Canada versus USA. Still can't hear you, partner.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I can hear you. Now turn around your camera so we don't have to look at the. Okay. There we go. There we go. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I said JP, the 6-pack went from a 6 to a 12.
All right. Well, I owe him a 12-pack of Labatt's. So
yes,
for every week I don't pay up, it gets bigger. All right. Well, we gotta. They won't let me bring it in the arena. What do you want me to do?
I was just down below and I saw actually you guys are on the ice right now. It's an optional skate. It's actually an optional skate optional practice to the rink. So some guys aren't even here today. But anyways, Edmonton's going on next. Connor McDavid is skating today, but he's been off for a couple days. So, but anyways, I was talking to Jake Gensel about Four Nations Cup and how much fun that was and the whole experience. So And I was asking him, what a great, what a great pass he made to Austin Matthews. That should have been the winner right there. That was a hell of a pass. I mean, Binnington made a great blocker save. And, to me, Binnington was the best player in the last game because, he held them in there when they needed to. And obviously McDavid scored the big goal to win the whole thing.
Okay, so you talked to Gensel about that. I mean, at that moment, he makes that pass. He's got to think this game is over. Like, we just won, right?
No, for sure. I mean, what I thought.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just asking you about when you talked to Gensel, is that what he was thinking when he made that pass, that game is over?
Yeah, for sure, JP. He was saying that when he made that save on, on Matthews, and then there was another one, I don't know if Brady Tkachuk would have went in, but then Matthews had another one in the high slot. I mean, they had 3 or 4 quality chances, and then the Lightning or the Team Canada came down, and they, obviously it was a great play. But I asked him about the final goal because it's weird what happened, and I said to Jake Gensel, I said, I want to ask Braden Point if it was a set play by Team Canada, because if you watch the goal again, and Mitch Marner's the face-off's down in the zone just before that play happens. John Cooper yells out, "Would someone shoot the puck and be selfish in the net?" And then he called McDavid and Marner to go on the ice. Well, if you watch the play again, okay, the play's in the offensive zone. McDavid's on the face-off. Braden Point's on the half wall. Mitch Marner's in the middle of the hash marks as a winger. So the face-off gets won by McDavid, and McDavid shoots the puck. It misses the net against Austin Matthews. The puck goes all the way around the boards to Cale Makar. So what does Cale Makar do? Everybody thinks Cale's going to shoot the puck or make a play with it. So after he shoots the puck, if you watch the replay, Mitch Marner goes from the middle of the ice in front of the net. He goes all the way to the far thing behind the net on the far sideboards and plants his ass. Braden Point does what every winger does, goes to the front of the net, thinking there's a point shot. Well, the puck goes all the way from Cale Makar all the way back down around to Marner, who's on the boards. Why is he there? I have no idea what he's doing on the boards at that point. He gets the puck, picks it up quickly, does a quick sidestep, passes out to McDavid. It's in the net in 1 second. I mean, if you watch that thing again, why would Mitch Marner go all the way around and do that? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I want to ask Braden Point, is that a set play or what happened in that whole sequence?
Yeah, I saw someone else breaking down that play and said, the defenseman for USA, I forget who it was, should have cut that play off coming around the back of the net and not allowed that pass to get all the way over to Marner. But in the end, it's too
fast. It's too fast. That puck's moving too fast.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, everybody's thinking when the draw is won and McDavid misses the net, they're thinking that Cale Makar is going to get the puck on the blue line, probably one of the best defensemen, if not the best defenseman in the world. Yeah. He's going to get the puck off the boards, wheel it to the middle, and take a shot. Well, he doesn't. He gets the puck and snaps it all the way around the boards to Mitch Marner in the far corner with his butt on the boards. Like, why would he do that? I mean, there's no way that could be planned.
I think the only thing we know for sure is that anytime Connor McDavid is left alone in the slot, wide open like that, somebody missed an assignment somewhere.
Yeah,
that shouldn't happen.
Is that on Austin Matthews?
Yeah. Well, it should be a good game tonight. I mean, obviously we're playing Edmonton. Edmonton's lost the last two, and I was just talking to the team too. They've struggled the last 2 games. They look absolutely dead tired. I mean, I watched Connor McDavid play on Saturday, Sunday. He looked exhausted from the Four Nations Cup. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be going tonight. They lost the last game before the break. They lost the first 2, so they haven't looked really good. And then on the other hand, the Lightning won 6 in a row. I mean, I thought they played a good game the other night against Seattle. I thought, it took about a period for everybody to get the rust off. Some of the guys who played in the Four Nations, like Gensel, Hedman, Point, Kucherov, Cirelli, or Hagel.
Yeah.
Not Kucherov, but those guys look a little tired. I think they'll be better tonight. But the other guys who've been, they were off for 12 days, look like they're in the Bahamas or Puerto Rico or some of these places traveling right now. So, You know what? I thought Vasilevsky was the difference in the game again. He was absolutely outstanding. This is the Vazzy we know that we won the cups. This is the guy that's played so well for so many years, and he's a difference maker.
You know, Brian, can you put into kind of context what it means for these Canadian players to win this tournament? You know, Cooper said the other day, it's like a mental gymnastics trying to come off that high. You know, not that the Lightning season isn't important, but that was, you know, to Team Canada, that was one of the historical moments in Canadian hockey history, right? So it's natural that these guys have got to readjust mentally and emotionally to playing an NHL regular season game, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's draining. I mean, you know what? You can just see, McDavid, his pace of play was very, very average, on Saturday, Sunday. I mean, I talked to the general manager. He almost said they should have gave him a day or so off because he wasn't there. It was just too much going on. Yeah. I mean, you look at Gensel, had a great Four Nations Cup. He had, 3 goals or something, and an assist or 2. But, Braden Point was good. Hagel, Cirelli were awesome. But it's just draining. I mean, when you talk about going and doing a best on best, they haven't did this in 10 years. And you know what? It came down to the finale. I mean, you know what? The great game when the U.S. won in Canada. I mean, they booed the anthem. We talked about that. And the U.S. in Boston, didn't boo anything. It was a great game. Went to overtime. And you know what? Everybody in Canada, everybody in the U.S. was cheering. You're getting people that weren't hockey fans, were watching hockey in the States, that were looking at going, wow, this is crazy what happened up in Montreal. And they're all watching the game, goes to overtime. But, representing your country, whether it's the U.S., Canada, Finland, Sweden, whatever, you know what, there's a lot of pride. And you know what, you don't want to be that guy that says, hey, we lost to the U.S. if you're Canadian. And the U.S. guys wanted to win because, you know what, they wanted to show everybody in the world that, hey, they are the new power in hockey. And you know what, to me, the U.S. probably was the better game in the final game too. But, Binnington was the best player in net. And once again, it goes down to who's the better goalie in that final game. And Binnington was the better goalie.
He was. Yeah. No question about it.
Well, tonight should bode well for Tampa with we talked about Edmonton with the schedule and everything. And if you look at the 2 losses since the Four Nations, I don't think anybody's been ready to play. With a 6-3 loss to Philly, and I watched the game Sunday against Washington. It was on TV here in Dallas, and nobody except Alexander Ovechkin was ready to play. And they just looked tired. They looked emotionally drained, and it's they haven't been back home yet. So, any Edmonton road trip's a long road trip just because of where Edmonton is. And I've made that flight from Dallas, and it's a long trip from anywhere. But this should set up nicely, I think, for the Lightning to – I don't want to say that as a sort of, a get-right game with some things, because you can't discount anybody in the NHL, especially when Connor McDavid's on the ice. But this should bode well for Tampa tonight. I wouldn't be too worried about things.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what really happens tonight. I'm expecting a better game by everybody. I mean, guys who were on the break that were off, guys who are at the Four Nations Cup. Yep. I mean, when you talk about the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, I can sit here and talk about Connor McDavid, and, he's one hell of a player. But Leon Draisaitl, that guy can play. He's from Germany, but that kid's a hell of a hockey player. The 2 of them together are phenomenal, if you ask me. It's just crazy to watch them. So they have a 1-2 punch that's just as good as anybody in the NHL or ever was. But it'll be fun to see. And I'm expecting our guys to come out. I'm obviously Vazzy's in tonight because he didn't skate here. And then I'm expecting Kucherov to be a little bit better, after playing a game. And then Point, Hagel, Hedman, Cirelli to all pick up their games where they left off. So, I thought Nick Paul, they all picked it up in the second half, but it's going to be a good game tonight. And then, you know what, we got Calgary Thursday, and then we go into the hottest team in the NHL. I'm going to the game Saturday in Washington. So that's going to be a hell of a game. Washington, I think, has got points in 15 straight home games or something like that. Yeah. They're on fire right now. Besides Winnipeg, they're the best team in the NHL. Yeah. And who would ever thought that? They were good last year for the first half, and then they died, but they haven't been good in 3 years. And you know what? All of a sudden, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Well, for the Lightning now, it's about, getting better each and every game. And they're in the stretch run. This last third of the season, Brian, is when you really want to be playing your best hockey, right? And I think Julien Brisebois is probably going to make what I think is a significant move. Do you think they're going to go get a top 6 forward to boost this team and make the lineup a little bit thicker? What do you think the Lightning do at the deadline?
Well, they definitely need help, I think, JP, and guys on the third line. If you can pick up a top 6 guy that can play, I think that would be key. But at the end of the day, you can't sell the farm away, because I'm hearing rumors now, Colorado did that big trade with Rantanen and gave away Netcash, who's a really good player. But I heard they're trying to trade him right now because he's not re-signing.
Right.
So, you can't make a move like that, give away 3 assets, a draft pick, and all these different things that, they gave away to get this kid. And now this kid he's not going to re-sign in Carolina. Yeah. So Carolina right now is they're shopping him. And he's a great player. He's won a cup. He's had amazing seasons with McKinnon over the course of the last 7-8 years, but he's not going to re-sign in Carolina. I don't think they like Carolina compared to Colorado. So they're in a bad position right now. So sometimes a trade, you've got to really look at the big picture, because it can go against you too in a situation like this. So I think Julien, Matthew Darche, they're going to sit down. We all know they need more depth on the third line. Hey, if you can pick up somebody on your first or second line, maybe to help out. But I love our first line. I think we could use a little something on that second line with Hagel and Cirelli. The first line with Gensel, Point, and Kucherov. I mean, you can't. Best. I don't know if you can get a better line in the NHL besides those guys. They're that good. And then you know what? I love our defense. I love our goalies. I would not touch anything on the back end. Yeah. We just need a little more help up front. Maybe a veteran guy for the third line. Maybe a top 6 guy. But at the end of the day, you can't give away the whole farm. We can't trade all these assets away. I mean, because it could come back and bite you again.
I got you.
And that's kind of my concern, is we know we need some depth, some scoring depth, but what do you have to give up to get it? Because I don't see a lot of depth all up and down the Lightning roster, and you'd hate to give up, someone or a position that you need in the long run just to get some more scoring. So it's a trade-off. I know that just concerns me, what they might have to give up.
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree 100% with that. You just, we don't have the depth we want in scoring, maybe on the third and fourth lines, but we can't give up, we can't give away a lot, because if it doesn't work out, those guys are just rental players for maybe a month and a half. Yeah. And, we give away a player and a second-round pick, and they're gone, and we don't have those guys anymore. So you've got to be careful with what you do. How many years are left on a contract? Would he resign here if you bring a guy in your top 6 again? How much money is the guy in the top 6 want? We can't afford an $8 million player just because he comes here either. So there's a lot of things you got to look at when they're doing the trade. That's why Julien and Matthew Darche do such a fantastic job. Yeah. And you know what? Like I said before, I love the way, Julien and Matthew Darche, our general manager, Julien Brisebois, what he does for the organization. He gives the team a chance each and every year to win. And one thing I love about Julien, he's not afraid to take a chance or make a move or make a trade to win that Stanley Cup. So he's good at assessing when it is. I think we got a chance to do some damage here, and I think if we can shore up that maybe a little guy, something on the second line, maybe something on that third line. No one wants to play the Lightning in the first round, because guess what? Who wants to play Vazzy? I wouldn't want to play Vazzy.
Nope.
He's playing as good as I've seen him now than he has ever.
Yeah, that's the deal right there. All right, Brian, I'll get you that Molson as soon as possible. Let's go play some golf. I'll buy you Molson.
Yeah, that sounds good. It might be 24 partner. The next time I see you.
Price is going up.
Yeah, just get a case.
Thanks, Brad. I'll see you tonight, buddy. The best.
And I tell you, I speak from experience when I'm talking about giving up stuff that you can't afford to give up for rental players, like Brian was talking about. Here in Dallas, we've had a couple of postseason runs here lately. A few years ago, they went out and got Matt Zuccarello, who was just a pivotal instrument in the Stars' run. Did not, of course, win the cup with him. And then he leaves in free agency that offseason, and now you're without the two defensemen you had to give up to get him, and you're without him for the next season. And Jim Nill's stuck trying to rebuild it. Last season, the Stars went out and got Chris Tanev, and everybody thought Chris Tanev was going to re-sign with the Stars this year because he was such an instrumental part in their postseason run last year. He goes out and he signs with Vancouver. So now you're without Tanev and you're without the draft picks that you took to get him. And it really handcuffs the team, especially in the NHL. I think it handcuffs the team more than it does in other sports.
And of course, the Lightning have given away a lot of their draft picks in the last, 4 or 5 years to stay competitive and have the window open, which I think is the right move. But the bottom line is they have been out in the first round the last 2 years. But now you look at it and the changes that were made. And who was it? Michael LaRue brought this up. Ryan McDonough leads the NHL in plus minus at plus 34. Mikhail Sergachev is minus 13. And then when you play that game with Jake Gensel, I believe Gensel is plus 24 or something, and Stammer is minus a lot. So just in those two moves alone, you've picked up. And J.J. Moser came back last night. Of course, you got him in the Sergachev deal, who's a better defenseman than Sergachev, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not as gifted offensively, of course, but the Lightning don't need that. They don't need that. They have plenty of scoring. They're third in the league in scoring, been number one most of the year. So the moves that JBB made this offseason, he didn't really give up much. He didn't have to give up much to do it. In terms of, he gave up Sergachev. I get it. And Stammer left. But, he's remade this team and kept it under the salary cap. And now the salary cap goes up. So they'll have even more flexibility. And they still have the core, locked in for a long time. So the Lightning are in great shape. And if they were able to pick up a top six forward and then they can move somebody down into that third line that probably fits there better, it just thickens up the lineup. And I'm not sure that might not be two moves, but I think it was interesting what Brad said about the back end, because there have been talk that they might add a defenseman. With Moser back, I'm not sure you need one. I'm not sure now Chernak obviously has been a little, I don't know if we can count it. He's been, I don't want to say injury prone. I'm looking for the right word. So I'm a little worried about him not being able to play through the whole tournament. But, I think in general, I think they're in good shape because your top four defensemen are going to play most of the minutes in the playoffs. Right. But again, can Chernak play all those minutes and stay healthy? That's a little bit of my concern. So I love where this Lightning team is at right now. I really do. And tonight, I think, the Oilers, they're like, they're on a 3-game loser and they have been, not good. So we'll see what they come out with tonight and with a little bit more energy.
Yep.
Some of our commenters on hockey, Austin Matthews is terrible when it matters. Now I see why Toronto never wins anything.
It's not his fault.
Well, it kind of is.
He's not, I wouldn't say he's awful.
It's not awful, but isn't he 0 for 7 in all the big tournaments?
Well, it's a team sport.
I know. Matthews left McDavid all alone. You can't do that.
No,
he did.
That we've decided that was on him.
Needs to bury that puck. And he did. You cost me, Austin Matthews. I got to pay off the 12-pack of Labatt's and Molson. Bury the damn puck, for God's sakes. All right, we'll take a break, come back on the other side, and get into some Rays on the field and off the field. There's a question in the comments that is very interesting from our friend B that I will answer. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. You need that business insurance, folks. If you've started a side hustle or got into a business on your own, you got to have business insurance or you could be risking your personal wealth if you get sued. So make sure you have business insurance. And, of course, shop it around. Let them shop your homeowners, your auto. They could save you hundreds and thousands of dollars like they've done for me over the years. And you get that great customer service that has been a hallmark of Italiano for so long. Have somebody that's going to help you make sure that you're properly insured and you have the lowest prices. That's Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, February's birthstone is amethyst, a stunning purple gem that symbolizes peace, protection, tranquility, and sincerity. Celebrate her birthday or your 6th and 17th wedding anniversaries with an unforgettable amethyst gift. And of course, for over 40 years, the Gold and Diamond Source has been Tampa Bay's most trusted name in fine jewelry. We only sell natural diamonds. If it's real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't get a fake. The Gold and Diamond Source first-time buyer program will help you learn about the 4 C's, what style, shape, and color works best for you and your unique style. Folks, it's the best customer service. They make it so easy for you, and they're not going to push you into something that you cannot afford. 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Also, you can turn your old unused gold into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. So get that old jewelry and bring it on in. You know where, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing. John Rodriguez, the owner over there, great dude, been in business since 1995. They do plumbing, they do AC, they do restoration work, they do everything. So if you have any issues, you've been, trying to get back from the hurricane, you've had damage, you can't get the work done right, give them a call over at Third Generation Plumbing. We can help you out. And if you ever need AC issues, they will come quickly, get the job done, and you're going to get an honest deal, right? That's what you want. When it comes to plumbing and AC, we don't know what the hell's going on. They can tell us anything, right? So you want a company that you know is going to be honest. And they've been in business since 1995. John Rodriguez and his family have been here since the turn of the century. So these are great people, and you're going to get an honest deal. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. Highly, highly recommended for any of your plumbing or AC or house needs. All right. Let's get into some Rays stuff, shall we?
Sure.
It's been quite the whirlwind since we did our video on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's got over, I think, 80,000 views on my Instagram, and then tweeted out and retweeted. So millions and millions of views. Never thought it would go that big, to be quite honest. But and it's interesting because a lot of what we've said before, and Ken Rosenthal has said before. The fact that the Rays are for sale and there are Tampa groups bidding on the team is not huge, breaking news. The breaking news on Friday was I further confirmed some of the names, the big time names that are involved, which we still can't get yet. We're working on that. But I did mention Eddie DeBartolo as part of one of the groups. There's 2 groups that are bidding on the team. One is, I think, more favored by Major League Baseball, as it has been explained to me. That's the group that wants to be ultra secret. And the reason that they do, and this was kind of explained to me yesterday, I was talking to a couple guys that, I was on the phone for a long time yesterday talking to people that are involved in acquisitions of teams, involved in, and currently the Minnesota Twins are for sale. So I was talking to some folks that are involved in that due diligence, trying to get a feel for how these whole things go down, right? And the thought is on the Rays, and I said this yesterday, is there's never been a time when all of these things are in place. And the most important thing being that Major League Baseball has finally realized that Stu Sternberg is not going to do a stadium in this marketplace. He either doesn't have the money or doesn't have the will, but he's not the man to do it. And they want local ownership. They want the team, talking about Major League Baseball, they want the team in Tampa. And now a lot of people have questioned my reporting on this, and for whatever reason, but that's fine. So, and I've said to many of them, well, what about Ken Rosenthal? Because he confirmed our reporting afterwards, a couple weeks, months after we first reported that the Tampa groups existed and they were trying to buy the team. And B asked me here in the comments, he said, JP, are you actually Ken Rosenthal's source? Not a crazy question, right? Well, that's very flattering, and I appreciate that. But Ken Rosenthal is extremely plugged in. I mean, he is literally, he is the
He doesn't need you.
He don't need me. He don't need me in any way, shape, or form. And I'm hoping to get him on the show so we can, exchange some thoughts. But he wrote about this back in January, and I just said I just wanted to revisit some of what he wrote. And now understand that Rosenthal literally talks to Rob Manfred probably on a daily basis, and that's why this is. The things that are different now as opposed to any other time is that Rob Manfred has finally realized, as I said, Stu's not the guy to get the job done. And clearly the Rays are not going to go through with this, because if they were, they would have already done it, right? We're waiting for this March 31st deadline. Well, if they were going to build the park, don't you think they'd get started as soon as they possibly could? I mean, haven't they told us that a few week delay that Pinellas County Commission gave them, put the price up $200 million. Well, now they've delayed 2.5 months. So, the price must have gone up $2 billion then by that number. So yeah. Wouldn't they want to get it done and started as soon as possible? Well, that tells you that they're not going to do it. It also tells you when you look at what Mayor Welch has said. Mayor Welch, after meeting with Mayor Manfred, didn't say, we know that the team is going to be in St. Pete. He said, we know that the team is not leaving the Tampa Bay area. Chris Lotfula from the Pinellas County Commission said basically the same thing. That's why they approved the bonds, to make sure that Stu Sternberg could not get the real estate, not get the redevelopment deal, and not build a stadium. So, and that it tells me, along with many other things, that Manfred is very much now involved in getting a new group installed and getting the stadium done in Tampa. Okay, so this is from Rosenthal's piece. He says, time is running short. The Rays must meet specific funding and design requirements by March 31st for Pinellas County to issue the necessary bonds, blah, blah, blah. And MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred does not want the team to relocate out of the market. Repeating to The Athletic what he has said numerous times publicly, my goal is to make baseball work in the Tampa Bay region. Okay? That's important. They do not want to lose this market. They're not going to lose this market. Couple other things he put in there. He said, so if Sternberg can't complete a ballpark deal in either city and the league doesn't want to lose the market, the logical solution for him is to sell interest in Tampa, who could get the Ybor City ballpark done once and for all. Potential buyers in Tampa exist, according to sources who are briefed on the matter, but would not reveal the identities of the likely bidders. Same thing I've been telling you for months. Sternberg periodically has engaged in sale conversations. The question is whether he could get his price. Okay, so, again, if you don't want to believe me, maybe you should believe Ken Rosenthal. Maybe. So, and he ends it with this. He says, the team's experience at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa this season might be telling. Capacity of the park is only 11,000. Many fans might be excited to see a major league product in an intimate minor league setting. But if the Rays generate greater buzz in Tampa than they do in St. Pete, it will only reinforce the perception that they have spent nearly 3 decades playing in the wrong city. Sternberg's past and present employees swear by him. Really? The team's performance reflects well on him. That's true. If somehow the Rays can bridge the funding gap, they can't. Through corporate support, government support, whatever it takes, perhaps the whole thing can still work out. If not, then Sternberg should get out, sell to an ownership group willing to make a greater investment, and negotiate a ballpark deal in Tampa. It might be the best outcome for all. Okay. So listen, folks, Ken Rosenthal is not writing that on a whim. He is writing it because he has solid information from Rob Manfred that this is what's happening. And it's the same information that I have been given by sources that are very much involved in the negotiations of how this works. Multiple sources. Got more source confirmation yesterday as well. So, yes, is a sale happening? I believe it is. The timing of it, that's going to be up to Major League Baseball and Stu Sternberg. Obviously, I was told yesterday that Sternberg wants way more, and we've told you this as well, way more for the team than it's worth. It's worth about $1.25 million, according to Forbes. The Orioles just sold for $1.73 million. A little bit different situation, but they're getting a $600 million refab for Camden Yards, which is going to be awesome. So that in public money. So they've got, and that helps, the price of the team, and they've got a really deep pocketed owner. So this is obviously the model that Major League Baseball wants, and they want to be able to get this done quickly because once they get Tampa solved, and now they have Vegas, the A's solved, now they can expand. And for the owners, what does that mean? About $150 million in their pocket for expansion fees for two separate teams. So what do you think other baseball owners are interested in? Stu continuing to take 4 years to find a new stadium situation, or get this done and get their $150 million? Figure it out. So everything tells you when you follow the money, this is where it's going. This is where it's going. All of my sources tell me this is where it's going. All of Ken Rosenthal's sources tell you this is where it's going. So if you don't want to believe us, if you don't want to doubt it, say Stu's the man, he's going to win it. Like many of you say on social media, I'm an idiot. Fine. I don't even respond to you. This. I'm just telling you what I know and telling you where I think things are going. I'm not reporting this as a done deal. And by the way, I saw somebody that reposted my stuff I said it was a done deal. And I sent him a message and said, I did not say that. I said, right, heading that way. So now, do I believe the deal is going to get done? Yes, absolutely. Everything tells us that it is. And the opposite is Stu continuing to own the team for 4 more years and having, playing in Tropicana Field with an adversarial relationship with the city who's got to fix Tropicana Field. You think anybody wants to be involved in that? No. So do I know where they're playing the next couple of years? No, I don't know that. I think Steinbrenner Field is going to be such a huge success that they're going to want to play there for another 2 years while the stadium is built in Tampa, just to continue that Tampa momentum. I think that's, I think they'll find a way. I know that's not the New York Yankees' choice. I think they would like something else to be done. And I don't see, somebody else asked me, he said, well, why would St. Pete fix the Trop for 3 years if they're going to build in Tampa? Well, my response to that would be so you can have 3 more years of the Rays in St. Pete.
That's a lot of revenue.
Yeah, I mean it's some revenue for the city of St. Pete, and it all depends to me. Do they get FEMA money? Do they want to work with a new ownership group who's probably much more conducive and let's just say reputable to work with, to partner? And as many of you feel like give the Trop it's due send off, which I get, but whatever. Yeah, I'll just hit the plunger. We've got video of things that happen there. We can have a party if you want on the rubble. I don't, if that's, yeah. I'm a nostalgic guy. But when it comes to the Trop, not so much. But I get it. For a lot of you, I get it. I totally get it. But I don't think it's worth, the 60 million or 100 million it's going to take to fix it. And, it's still going to be in St. Pete, and we're still going to have. Now you want to go to a half-ass Trop that's fixed, maybe a little bit, and, still terrible location. That to me is just going to feel like 3 years of, so if it gets done, right. And then you're going to blow it up. So what a waste of money in the long term. And I think the city of St. Pete, honestly, would like to get going on the redevelopment. Stu Sternberg has held up the redevelopment for a decade. I think St. Pete would like to finally get it done. And I think Mayor Welch would like that as part of his legacy to redevelop it in the right way. So I think all those things would tell me that it's probably going to be a Steinbrenner situation for the next few years. So, and by the way, tickets go on sale. I think season ticket holders are going to be able to buy single game tickets today. Tomorrow, if you're a quote Rays insider, just got to sign up for that. Don't have to pay anything. You can get part of the pre-sale, and then everything else goes to the public on Thursday if there's anything left, and I doubt there will be. So the cheapest ticket in the building, $65 for a game, for a baseball game. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Damn, yeah.
This is not even $65 for a baseball game, a Tuesday night against. But you know what? The people of Tampa are paying it. They're going to sell out for the entire season. They've sold out $30,000 home plate clubs, $24,000 Loge clubs. All of that stuff is gone and went quick. So I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be fun to watch, and hopefully the timing of this happens as close to the deadline as humanly possible. So, but we'll see. I think it could be later on into the year before a sale is done, because you got two groups going after it, and Eddie DeBartolo is one of the groups. And we'll see. We'll see where that goes, but I think it's heading in the right direction. So, and so is the team on the field. There, Danny Jansen had another home run yesterday, the new catcher. So he's got 2 home runs in 2 games or 3 games. Zach Littell pitched yesterday, looked really, really good, gave up a home run, but said he felt good. The pitching looks fantastic. Josh Lowe is a huge part of this. I was looking at his numbers from 23, 292, 20 home runs, 83 RBI, 32 stolen bases, 33 doubles, an 838 OPS. And only one other player was better, and that's Ronald Acuna Jr., who won the MVP that year. And then last year he played 106 games. He was injured in spring training. His core was all messed up, and he just wasn't the same guy. Says he's in great shape, got married in the offseason, feels fantastic. I mean, the dude can be a dominant player, can be an absolute dominant player. And if he gets back to form and Caminero can add some pop, I think Morel is going to end up being a complete waste of time. I'd like to see Chandler Simpson get up here midseason, get a little bit more seasoning in AAA, because he's never played at the AAA level. He's 24 years old, though. He played 4 years of college baseball. He's tearing it up in spring. Is it unprecedented to see a guy jump from AA to major league? No. But man,
no, not at all.
He's got a unique skill set that I think baseball needs more of. The leadoff hitter. What happened to the leadoff hitter, Tim? What happened to the Vince Colemans and the Ricky Hendersons and they just don't make them anymore because nobody's interested in it. Scouts don't look for that. And I think that baseball needs to return to guys like that get things moving, get on the bases, steal bags, be able to get from first to third in a blink. The guy freaking scores on a tag up in college from second base on a deep fly ball. I mean, that's how fast this kid is. He's a game changer, and I want to see him in this lineup sooner than later. So, they got Ha-Seong Kim coming back in hopefully early May. On the field, there's a lot of room for optimism. So I'm excited about this team. And once ownership changes, wait till you see the response. Wait till you see the response from the Rays fans and the celebration when the Wicked Witch is dead. It is going to be unbelievable.
They might need increased security at the stadiums because of all the signs that are going to be up, from fans saying, "Thank God, ding dong, the witch is dead," or whatever they're going to start putting up there with Stu being gone and whoever the new owner is. I mean, look, for instance, let's have an example of something that's already happened. The Washington football franchise, the worst NFL owner by far in Washington for 20 plus years. They don't do anything on the field. He's literally stealing money from the other owners and from the league. He gets busted. The franchise sells. He's forced out. The franchise sells to by the way, an ownership group that includes Magic Johnson. Mm-hmm. All right. So there are some big names there. Proven ownership, with the Dodgers, right? And he's involved in that.
People know what the F they're doing. And
Josh Harris, lifelong Redskins fan. He's living his dream now as the owner of the team and the principal manager of the team. And look at the franchise now in 1 year with a good draft, with football people in place, not with a meddling owner who's in it for his pocketbook. And they broke their streak of not being to the NFC Championship game since 1991. Now it's the Cowboys, 1996. So look, the same thing can happen in Tampa with the Rays. You get an ownership group in that cares about the baseball team and the fan base because he is a fan, right? He's not just a businessman from New York. He's an actual fan of the team, and he cares about the product on the field, and he wants it to do well at the same time that he's putting money in his pocket because it's okay to do both, and it's possible to do both. So in 1-2 years, when the Rays are sold, dude, it can turn around like that.
Yeah. And the on-the-field product obviously has been good, but it can be better.
Right.
So I imagine Eric Neander and his band of geniuses with a payroll that's closer to the league average. I mean, we're talking about World Series contender each and every year. So I'm excited about it. Thomas Casper reminds us, yes, there are $20 tickets that are going to be available. If you sign up for the Rays text service, they're going to send out a text before, I guess, every series or every game, and they're going to sell a minimum of $120 standing room only tickets. That's cool. So, I mean, we got to have some way for people that don't have big dollars to get into the games, which is I think key. So again, but to those who said, "Oh, they're going to play in Steinbrenner Field. Let's see, Tampa, if you come out," doubled the prices, tripled the prices in some time, and it's going to be sold out. Yeah. Shocking development. Shock outside too. Yeah, where it's hot. Yeah, people love baseball here.
And it's freaking going to be amazing. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
People love baseball here. And I'm so tired of the national narrative. Oh, they never support their team. The Rays are so good. You don't even show up for playoff game. And I try to, educate people of what's going on here. And finally, we're going to be able to do it the right way. And it's going to be a huge success in Tampa. Huge success. I mean, when you look at the amount of growth east of Tampa, I mean, I travel I-4 a lot, and it's insane the amount of growth that's going on, and I-4 itself is insane. But Brightline coming down I-4, bringing folks. If you live in Orlando now, you can get on a train. I guess it's going to be in 4 years, hopefully 3 years, maybe less. You can get on a train and get to Tampa in 35, 40 minutes. And guaranteed time, by the way, drop you off blocks from the park, go to a baseball game, get back on, and be back in Orlando in 35, 40 minutes. I mean, hello.
How great is that?
I mean,
don't have to worry about driving. Don't have to worry about traffic. You can go drink at the game.
No parking.
Have a good time.
No parking. I mean,
we have that here in Dallas a little bit. The problem is it only goes to Dallas. It doesn't go to Arlington where all of our stadiums are.
Yeah,
unless you're going to a Stars game downtown.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about that for 30 years. Fort Worth has its own light rail. Dallas has its own light rail. It's like Tampa and St. Pete having own separate light rail systems that don't connect. That's exactly what we deal with here.
That's so dumb.
It's so dumb. By the way, JP, it's time. As the clock has rolled 10:30 here Central Time, I'm drinking to two things. I'm drinking to the Rays being sold.
Cheers.
Okay? And I'm drinking to LeBron James' retirement. We got a comment I have to address here on the other side of the next break we take.
Okay, let's do that. Quick break. Come back. There you go. Attaboy. Cheers, baby. All right, we will. I'm hydrating after my neurovirus incident. So,
right.
If I put that in my belly right now, you'd see. That might be fun. All right, quick break. When we come back, we will chat about the Valspar. Big news out of there yesterday. Huge news. And we'll talk some more NFL. Grand Prix coming to town. All kinds of cool stuff. So stay with us. Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. We're coming to you from the Jeeves Law Group studio here in beautiful South Tampa. The rain has finally subsided after yesterday's deluge. If you're involved in an accident, first place to call, the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Had any issues at work, any legal issues whatsoever, they'll give you a free case evaluation. Great attorneys here at the Jeeves Law Group. They're very busy there in the back room, very busy. Lots of people running around. And they will make you an absolute priority. So if you want to go with some national firm, not a good idea. They'll get a quick settlement for you. You want somebody to work your case, it's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Not attorney spokesman, offices St. Pete and Tampa. All right, partner, what else?
By the way, I may need an attorney here a little bit later earlier this afternoon, JP.
Well, what's going on?
I have to go to court today.
Do you really?
You'll never guess why. I've never done this before. I've always ignored it. And no, I'm not talking about toll fees, although I've done that. I haven't paid a toll fee in 12 years. And usually when it's time to renew my registration, I just have to go get a new car.
Wait, what?
Because if you don't pay toll fees, they block the registration on your car here in Texas. You can't get your tags redone.
Right.
So I just go get a new car. And then the dealership puts it in their name. And then I have a year. Either that or I go put it in Johnny's name.
That seems like a lot of getting around tolls.
Yeah, well, they're expensive here because I live right on the toll road. No, but I have to go to court today, JP, because I got a truancy notice from my 11th grader.
What? They still do that?
So I used to get this like for years ago. The last time I got one of these was in the early 2000s for a stepdaughter who had she got mono like 3 times in the year. Well, apparently they only allow a parent so many excused absences with a note. After that, you have to have doctor's notes. And I'm fighting this. I'm going to court. I'm going to look the judge in the eye, and I'm going to say, dude, you can't tell me that my kid's absence is not excused if I provide a note. I am the parent. I am the legal guardian. You can't say that I only get 5 or whatever in a semester, and then the doctor has to do it because I'm not taking my kid to the freaking doctor every time he throws up, but I'm also not sending him to school with a fever. Would you rather I just send him to school with a fever and then everybody
these are the same people that canceled school for COVID when they didn't need to.
Coronavirus or whatever the hell it's called.
Kids
now.
weren't,
No, so I'm going to say, and look, I don't even know is it a warning? Are they just saying you can't do that anymore? Or are they going to fine me? Or I mean, they can fine me all they want. I'm not paying it. But I don't know what's going to happen because I've ignored these my entire life. But I got this one, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go because I've got to hear what their freaking argument is.
That's crazy.
And he's got like
they still did that.
He's got like 8 absences, but he's had a throat thing all year, this entire year. And if he's running a fever because of it, I'll freaking throw some medicine down his throat and I'll let him stay home because he's in bed and he's genuinely sick. And I send a note to school online the very next day. And I even asked them, if you have more absences that I don't know about, you need to tell me how many there are that I haven't sent a note for. And the email I got back was 0. You have sent notes for every time he's been absent, but the number of his absences go beyond what our allowance is. I said, you can't tell me how many times my kid can be absent. He's my kid. I know about it.
This is all part of the state saying that they're not your kids anymore. They're our kids, and we can do whatever we want. We don't.
I took a kid out of school because of it once, and I homeschooled him his last year, and he wanted to. He's like, Dad, just freaking, I don't want to go to school.
A lot of people are homeschooling now. Yeah. And you know what? When you homeschool your kids, if you opt out of homeschool, guess what? You still have to pay the property taxes for the school.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Nice to see Ron DeSantis yesterday come out and say, about property taxes, that they're going to look at that. Because so many people around here, especially those on fixed incomes, their property taxes go up because the valuation of their home goes up, but they can't sell the home because they have to move out in order to pay their property taxes.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It's dumb.
So yeah, and the homestead exemption rules are so stupid.
Yeah.
It's really a bad, and this is the other one. It's like the tolls are everywhere. I mean, every time they build a road, it's a toll road.
Yep, that's how it is here too.
How is it that we're paying taxes? Well, you pay taxes for roads. Well, then why am I paying for the tolls? The waste in government that we're learning right now is so insane. And how anybody can be against this, it boggles my mind.
Yeah, and I don't know how it is in Florida, but our toll roads here are the North Texas Tollway Authority. It's a private company. It's not government funded.
Yeah.
So the money you pay on your toll tag or whatever goes to a private company for you to drive on their roads, and you still have to pay.
And so they're not even paying for the roads.
And you have to pay for the road and bridge tax when you do your registration, right, for the other roads that you drive on. Dude, it's ridiculous.
Can you imagine your boss sending you an email says, what'd you do last week? Give me 5 things you did last week. And you being upset about it? Like, how dare you? It's none of your
business.
How dare you ask me what I did last week? And part of the reason they're going to find out is there's probably 20% of the workforce that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, that's why they said that's one of the underlying reasons why he did that, because he wants to see how many emails he doesn't get back,
right?
For employees that don't exist.
And by the way, this whole idea that Elon is doing this, okay, Elon is the federal government. Okay, it's not, and it's easy to vilify a billionaire, right? It's easy to vilify a billionaire, so that's what the media wants to do. It's not Elon personally doing it. Elon is working at the behest of the president that was elected by the people in a landslide. So this is what the people want. And I'm telling you, 90% of the people are like, we're okay with this. But 90% of the media is like losing their mind over this. And people going on TV going, can you believe I got an email from my employer on the weekend that said I had 48 hours to reply and tell them what I did last week? Like, how long does that take?
Welcome to the real world.
That takes 5 seconds. Oh, what did I do last week?
If you can't name 5 things you accomplished at your job last week, you shouldn't have a job.
You shouldn't have a job, or you shouldn't be getting paid. That's for goddamn sure. Yeah. I mean,
and look, for all of you leftists out there who are saying, oh my God, Elon wasn't even elected. Why are we listening to him? Why do we have to put stock in what he says? Well, you know what? You sure put a lot of stock in what that idiot Fauci said 4 years ago, 5 years ago. He wasn't elected by anybody. What's the difference?
Unelected bureaucrats run the government. Millions of them.
My God.
That you didn't vote for. Duh. It's so simple, to try and mind F people. Like, oh, let's put this on Elon. We'll make it personal on him because he's a billionaire. I'll fall for that.
And he's after our money, JP.
Like,
Elon's after our money.
We didn't elect him. Well, guess what? Everybody in the cabinet, you didn't elect either. And by the way, you didn't elect the president, the guy that was running the country, whoever was running the country for the last 4 years. You didn't elect him either. You didn't seem to have a problem with that. Yeah. Anybody who thought that idiot moron was running the country, you have to have less than half a brain.
Can't even tie his shoes, and he wasn't running the country.
Yeah, I mean, my God. I love seeing this stuff come out. Like, oh,
see, the difference is when Biden,
because it's such a waste.
When Biden was president,
we're paying all this money. It's like crazy.
People bitch about paying taxes all the time. Don't you want to know where it's going and what it's doing? Well, now that's what they're trying to do. And by the way, I don't even want to go there. Never mind. I want to start a rant. I can't stop.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's get so V-Red 24. Great to see you in here. Said, hey, JP, love the show and great work on the Rays stuff. Any thoughts on Brody Brazil covering your Rays info on his YouTube channel?
I'll have to go watch that. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing yesterday. He did 13 minutes on our report. And as I've said before, I don't know Brody. He doesn't know me. But he does very well polished videos that he does on YouTube.
He's kind of a big deal, apparently.
Yeah, he is.
70,000 YouTube subscribers.
How many?
70,000.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more than I have, for sure.
More than we have.
Yeah, but he does a great job, but he just repurposes. I shouldn't say just. That's somewhat, but he repurposes other people's content and makes money off it. So send me a check, Brody. Yeah. And he said he didn't know me, but he said I seemed like I was credible. And he didn't mention that Ken Rosenthal also reported, so I wish he would have said that as well. Right. But he went, but he gave us great exposure. So thank you for that, Brody. We really appreciate that. And he was very respectful of us, so I don't have any problem whatsoever.
It's easy to do that and not be respectful, by the way. There's a lot of people that do that.
He was extremely respectful and gave us great publicity, so I thank him for that. I have no problem with it.
Maybe we should have him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no problem with it. And people are like, hey, Brody used your stuff. I'm like, great, fantastic. He exposed us to his tremendous audience. So thank you very much for doing that. No, I don't have any. And he didn't, he asked some questions I think that were very interesting. He said, who would leak this to the press? And which is a good question. First of all, they didn't leak it. I found out through my sources. So it wasn't that. But also, Manfred leaked it to Ken Rosenthal. Yeah. I mean, and it's a good question. It's like, why would they want people to know that the team is for sale, blah, 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 blah. I think Manfred wants people to know, to put pressure on Stu to sell the team. I think he wanted the Rosenthal article out there to change the narrative, the false narratives that had been promulgated by the Times, and it was in the national media that Stu was the victim here.
Right.
Stu was the victim. Terrible. St. Pete bad. Tampa bad. Fan bad. Stu great. And he wanted to, because he finally figured it out, and he wanted that narrative out there. So he goes to Ken Rosenthal and said, listen, this is what's really going on here, and this is what we want to happen. So we need to make this public. And you saw in the article, as we read from Ken, he didn't, Rosenthal did not put the names of the people that are bidding on the team out there. He doesn't want that because that can affect whether the deal goes through or not. And the people that are involved in that really don't want their names out there. Right. So I get that, and I understand it. It drives the price up. It makes it harder for them to do a deal. So, and that's my main concern. I don't want to sit here and throw names out there that I know are part of this deal unless I have their blessing. Because, for a lot of different reasons, the first and foremost, I don't want to lose their trust, and I want the deal to go through. So, and it doesn't matter what the names are, and you'll know when you need to know. Yeah. Matter is, that's why I said this is an elite group. That's all that you need to know. It is an elite group of people that have money, have deep pockets, can make this thing happen, and can move it forward. That's what you need to know, and that's what's important. And that's why it was, quote, leaked out there, because they wanted people to change the narrative, right, and know what's really going on. What else we got here? Second Brody video just out, same subject. Well, I'm gonna have to ask for a cut of his Instagram.
Go with YouTube, probably.
Daniel Rivera, happy birthday, by the way, Daniel. Ken Hagan wouldn't be this bold and aggressive on this if he didn't think a deal in Tampa could be done. You are correct. Hey, there we go. Jim Hunter, welcome in. First time listening today because of Brody's video. Thank you. See, there you go. Hope you like the show, Jim. And like we do this every day. And like today, we had TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy on, comes on all the time. And we have Brian Bradley, Lightning Hall of Famer, comes on live from Amalie Arena. This is not some fly-by-night operation. No. I've been doing this for
Scott
30
Reynolds.
years. I've been in, Scott Reynolds, Pewter Report.
Al Antonio,
Rondé Barber. I mean, we have the best
Gary
guests
Koch.
come on all the time. Gary Koch, Titus O'Neil last week. I mean, we have the best guests in Tampa Bay come on because I've been doing this for 28 years in Tampa, for almost 40 years in the business. I've won a few reporting awards in my day. This is not some fly-by-night operation that we're doing here. We have sources. We've broken a lot of stories. We broke the Tom Brady to Tampa Bay story. We've broken a lot of stories. And we had a whiff on the Deion Sanders one. There you go. I admit.
And look, even though he is
90%, though, I said 90%.
And even though JP and the JP Peterson show are credible media outlets and a credible media individual, he still has me on the show 4 days a week. So there you go.
Drinking Fireball.
For you. I do it for the fans, JP.
Yes. I love this one from Rick. Former employees of Stu swear by him, just like it's outlined in their non-disclosure settlements. That is 100% true, by the way.
By the way, JP, it looks like Brody is the JP Peterson of San Jose.
He works for the Sharks, right?
Yeah. He does their, I guess, pre and post game stuff.
We are kindred spirits.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? We haven't done. Someone taking issue with you, my friend.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Derek says one guy ruined the entire sport. Okay, sounds like you hate him.
All right, first, and this is what I wanted to address, Derek. By the way, thank you for chiming in. I do value your opinion. I appreciate you pointing that out very much.
Absolutely.
Yes. So first of all, yes, I do hate LeBron James and everything he stands for with all of my being. He did not ruin a sport. All right. I love basketball. He ruined a league. All right. And yes, someone else had commented that Silver, the commissioner, ruined the league. Yes, he's partially to blame as well because he allowed LeBron to come in and get all this power to ruin the NBA. But LeBron James did ruin the NBA for me and a lot of people who share my opinion.
How did he ruin it?
Because when it became a players' league, when it became a league that the players ran, it's like the inmates running the asylum. You can't have that. Okay. And I'm not saying it's perfect when a perfect situation or scenario when the owners have all the power. Of course, you don't want that either. No. But LeBron James came in. He thought he was bigger than the game. Everyone allowed him to think that literally since day one, before he was even drafted, LeBron was bigger than the game. I was there. I remember watching him in high school. Okay. I remember all of it. I was very NBA aware back then still. And the fact that he was allowed to come in and get his own way, it ruined the league. Okay, his whole thing going, taking my talents to South Beach. All right, that was the beginning of the end. All right, because that whole ordeal, that's when he became bigger than the league, when he got paid millions of dollars by ESPN to do that. It wasn't even his idea. That was ESPN that brought that to him. But the fact that he went along with it and he's never stopped. He is bigger than the league, and it is bad for NBA fans everywhere. Again, I haven't watched an NBA game probably since the Mavs won the title in 2011. And I won't watch an NBA game until LeBron is gone. And it's going to take years for the league to recover from it. And I think they will, because the other idiots in the league aren't like that.
More Right Rudder says this. Watch my first NBA game this year, the Cavs-Grizzly game the other night, from start to finish. 53 fouls combined against the two teams.
Yeah.
It's unwatchable.
An unwatchable product.
And listen, I come from, I grew up as a Lakers fan. Showtime was my thing, man. I love Magic Johnson, Norm Nixon, James Worthy, Kareem. That was, I was a hugest NBA basketball fan you'd ever seen in your life and was for many, many years. Yep. But I would say, and I respect LeBron for what he's done in the game as far as being a player. At 40 years old, what he's still doing and the shape that he's in is insane.
I've never questioned his ability ever. I will never question his ability and talent.
And I would disagree that, that he was maybe, the reason the league is the way. I think it's allowed a slippery slope by David Stern and then Adam Silver that has allowed the players. I think your assertion that the players running the league has ruined it a lot. I think their politics certainly in the last 5 to 10 years has definitely turned off a lot of people in the way that they've supported some questionable things. I mean, you go back to Black Lives Matter, which of course Black lives do matter, but the organization itself was a complete fraud.
It's a farce,
complete farce and complete fraud, and got billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars and spent it on themselves. We know what that's all about. And the whole China thing. And it just, to me, that has just turned people away from the game, and the product on the field, on the court is awful. It is awful. And it's because the players don't give a rip.
Just look at their All-Star game.
I mean, you consciously decided to just stop playing in the All-Star game. You consciously decided, you know what? I'm really not going to play that hard. I mean, fans paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for tickets, and I'm just going to come out there. And you know what? Some nights I'm just not going to play. I'm just not going to play. And when the Toronto Raptors were here during COVID, I took the kids and wanted to see Steph Curry play.
Mm-hmm.
So, Steph Curry literally works out for probably 45 minutes before the game, shooting, getting all warmed up. And I had heard that he might not play, but I said, you want to go see, we'll go see Steph Curry. So 45 minutes before he's out there working out, doing his workout. And then when the game starts, he puts his civilian clothes on. I mean, you can't play 5 minutes in a game. You can't play 10 minutes in an NBA game. People show up and you can't play 10 minutes. You just
unbelievable
for 45 minutes. And it's almost become their rite of passage. Like, I'll play when I feel like playing. Well, you know what? I'll watch when I feel like watching, which is never. How about that? And now your ratings are in the tank. Nobody cares about your league. And it's over for the NBA. It's over. Until they can get some transcendent stars and change the culture of the league. Hell, Charles Barkley gets paid tens of millions of dollars to talk about this, and he can't stand watching the league.
No.
He can't stand what these guys are standing for.
The first thing me and Barkley have ever agreed on ever. And I love Barkley.
So, I just listen, there's so many good things happening in sports and so many great leagues. There's a lot of leagues that are emerging, things I'd like to see. I don't have time for the NBA, and I couldn't care less. And people, have been talking, since our stuff went viral over the week, this past weekend. People hit me up. Well, Tampa needs an NBA team. I'm like, bruh.
Not right now. They don't.
Orlando, like never. This is not a basketball market. Nobody's interested in NBA expansion. They can't.
The Magic's not doing well, right?
The Magic, well, they're doing better because they're starting to finally win, but they've been irrelevant for 20 years. I mean, but they're not going to put an NBA team 90 minutes away from where they already have one that struggles to have attendance. The same reason I could put a Major League Baseball team in Orlando. Yeah. So no, it's not. It's not.
And look, for all of you, I'm a basketball fan. I love basketball.
Love the game. I
am 100% into college basketball this time of year. All of it. That and the NHL, that gets all of my attention. Spring training, the Rangers are in spring training. The Rays are in spring training. I'm very seriously considering a trip out to Surprise, Arizona to go to the Rangers. Dude, I'm full in on all my sports. I don't need the NBA right now.
Yeah, nobody does. A couple updates from our friends at Pewter Report who were up at the Combine. GM Jason Light comments on hiring Josh Grizzard as offensive coordinator and the importance of keeping most of the staff together for continuity purposes. Josh did a fantastic job all year. Everybody in the building saw how smart he is, easy to get along with. It is important to have as many at the offensive staff as we could. There's a lot of parts, including the coaches. So our first little tidbit from the Combine. And yeah, I mean, we knew that was what it was all about.
Yeah.
Light says Charlie Strong brings a lot of wisdom and leadership to the coaching staff. It calls him a great person and a great football mind. Indeed. Great dude. Love Charlie Strong. Good person, good people. I'm glad they added him to the staff. Light says he and
better
Todd Bowles,
assistant than head coach. Charlie Strong.
Yeah. Light says he and Todd Bowles both talk often with Baker Mayfield, and there's a good relationship there when where they can be honest and open about things, which is always important. One more we'll do here. Light says it's gotten to a point where he's not even training his scouts. They know what they're doing. And because he's not the one on the road these days, it's those who have boots on the ground who are teaching him and keeping him in the loop of how kids are these days. Oh, that's interesting. Light says last year's rookie class was outstanding. His staff and the coaches hit it out of the park. It's not every year you can do that, but you strive for it every year. He says when he's sitting on a beach somewhere, when he retires, he'll think back on that class. That's pretty cool. So we'll have more of that to talk about on tomorrow's show. But for now, that'll do it. Thank you to TJ Rives, who joined us today, and the great Brian Bradley, who joined us as well, live from Amalie Arena. Big game tonight. Connor McDavid and the Oilers in town against the Lightning, who have won 5 in a row, 6-0-1 in their last 7. So let's go Bolts. Great job, Timmy. Good luck in court today. Good luck in court.
I'll need it. Sure I'll report back tomorrow.
Vinny Boombots, your attorney today? Will he
yes.
be? Okay.
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran. All right, good. He's dead. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.